And coming in 2024, we are working on something massive, which we think will finally put this flat earth idea to bed for good.
So Duffy, he set up a debate with me and him that I never heard about. You sure about that?
So I reached out to Dave Weiss, and Dave was supposed to debate him, and then it ended up being Jaron and Austin who debated him about it. I reached out to Dave Weiss, and Dave was supposed to debate him, and then it ended up being Jaron and Austin.
This discussion was originally supposed to be me and Dave Weiss, who is best known as Flat Earth Dave, but I believe he's traveling and couldn't make it. So Austin, thanks for stepping in.
Presented it to me, I didn't even friggin' respond. I was not traveling, right? And so they're like that I was traveling and couldn't make it, so I referred with bullshit. None of that.
So you want to have a debate? Perfect. I like that. I hate debates. Matter of fact, but here's the thing: I can't do it. I'm in Mexico for a couple months, and the internet here sucks.
Austin, 1 second. You had a perfect opportunity to discredit these people with a compass, because if these people are claiming there was a 24-hour sun where you guys were there, you could have taken a compass. That compass should go 360 in that direction, and it destroys them. Why didn't you do that to get that contra argument?
I have 4 different compasses. I recorded them all the way there. Like they all pointed south the whole time we went there.
You sure about that?
So this is going to be to the north. The declination is a little bit, I think it's about 20 degrees, a little more.
So this is going to be to the north.
Like they all pointed south the whole time we went there.
You sure about that?
And you don't understand what you are saying. We live in an electromagnetic toroidal field. There is no South Pole. Your compass, objectively, empirically, and scientifically concludes that the Earth is a level plane with a fixed center source. Your compass will function properly with a fixed source in the center. If you add this static, all right, this is our South Pole. Let's have a constant South Pole now. Look, it's not working. It's not working because we have 2 fields acting on it at the same time. Get rid of our South Pole that doesn't exist and has no evidence. Weird. Now our compass functions properly. Add the South Pole, compass doesn't work. Take the South Pole away, compass works fine.
Like they all pointed south the whole time we went there.
You sure about that?
The minute Charlie was shot, he called me.
You sure about that?
The shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. Then he takes his phone, and he begins calling Erica.
The minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, "Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray." He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him. And
you sure about that?
Everyone's worried about the leadership of TPUSA. Don't. He was wise enough at 31 to put together a plan for succession. Plan of succession, I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not privy to it, but I do know this. Plan of succession, I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not privy to it, but I do know this.
Oh, and then they got there and the camp was empty. Who the hell said that? Did you watch? You paid for the GoPro footage. Did you watch my GoPro footage? Did you see us fly in? Was the camp empty?
And look at the whole place is empty. It's just us.
I'm no longer a flat earther. I'm not going to look at flat earth content anymore. I'm not going to talk about flat earth content anymore. I never said I'm not going to talk about flat earth. I said I'm not going to be in the flat earth arena. I'm not going to look at flat earth content anymore. I'm not going to talk about flat earth content anymore. I never said I'm not going to talk about flat earth. I said I'm not going to be in the flat earth arena.
Funny, his favorite animal is the platypus. Favorite animal?
I love dogs. I believe dogs are windows into God's, almost a window into God.
Favorite animal was the platypus. Favorite animal?
I love dogs.
My dear friends, good morning from Japan. Hope you guys are doing fine today. Fix my map here. So just a quick mic check, please. We're gonna get started. I didn't even play the song today, the intro song, because I really have a lot of things that I want to cover today. So just a quick mic check and then we will get going. So hello, Daniel Almeida. How are you? Flat Earth Reconnaissance. Hear you fine. Flat Earth Deplorables in the house. Thank you. Hi, my good friend Yoko Wrong House is in the house. A lot of people. Anime Gematria. Welcome to the show. And astute gentlemen, I hope I will present enough evidence today that might make you change your mind, because that's how I thought so too for over 40 years. And I have changed my mind because I think there are a lot of evidence proving that, in fact, we are past the millennial reign. So I'm going to present more, what I believe to be more evidence today, and we will go from there. So welcome you all to the show. So many good people here. Sam is here. Sam and Shaya. Good morning. All right, so I see that I think the US, they are having the savings time, because the show was scheduled to be 6 p.m. in California, 9 p.m. in New York City time. But I think they have changed it. They went to savings time. So I'm sorry for you guys. Next week I will fix the thumbnail. So you will probably get the right time. But we don't have savings time in Japan. So to me, it's the same time as always, 10 a.m. So a few topics that I want to cover today. Let me show my thumbnail for the week. So first thing I want to talk about, of course, the Statue of Liberty as being Satan, who was loosed back in 1776. Perhaps let's look at the evidence. I'm going to talk a bit about the North Pole, talk about the TFE debacle, and of course, I want to wrap up Daniel 9:27 today. There is enough evidence also that, of course, the angel, when he spoke to the prophet Daniel, he did not misspeak anything. He didn't misspeak. He had a message 70 weeks will be given to your people, 490 years. So there's nothing hidden there. All right, so we were going to go over all that stuff. Let's get started. Let me just remove this comment so we can see the screen. Let's start with our first topic. All right, this is okay. So this is a statue called the Lucifer of Liege. Okay, it's supposed to be a Lucifer. You see the face. The important thing here is the crown with 7 points: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 right here. It's holding a crown, a scepter. Like you see the chains here on his leg, meaning that Satan has been bound for 1,000 years. You see the apple, beaten apple right here, that scepter here, right? So I kind of researched about this statue, and the funny thing is like this guy here is supposed to, he is the one who um, created this statue. We're gonna go over his name. I'm not sure, but under his gallery of work, I also found this, which is Prometheus. And you see here, y'all know that Prometheus symbolizes Apollo or Lucifer, Satan. So he's also chained here. Somehow, this statue and this bill shows in the same gallery as belong to this person. So who is this guy? So I tried to find a lot of information about him on, like Google. And I'm trying to see the full screen here. I don't know. So anyway, I tried to find information about him, whether he was a Freemason or not. So I could not find in English. So I switched it to French, and I found it in French, right? So his name is Guillaume Griffes, right? So the question is, was Guillaume Griffes a Freemason? Short answer, yes. There is documentary evidence that Guillaume Griffes was a Freemason. Most sources name him as a member of the Brussels Lodge Les Amis Philanthropes, Grand Orient of Belgium. Below is as I summarize what I found and give the most relevant source so you can follow up. So here's all his work, several scholarly archive. So yes, he was a Freemason, and he's the one who created this statue. He is called the Lucifer of Liege. And you see here the crown of 7 points: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and the chain here. All right, so just have this in mind. You have here a Freemason building a statue for Lucifer, them showing him being bound for 1,000 years. All right, so let's look at the similarities now with the Statue of Liberty. So I did my research as well. There is another statue of Lucifer, and the face look very similar. And this one was erected in 1797. And this is what I found about the Statue of Liberty. Okay, we're gonna go over this in a minute. Okay, so Statue of Liberty represents Lucifer's symbolic evidence list. Number 1, name and meaning light bearer. Lucifer in Latin literally means light bearer or bringer of light. The Statue of Liberty holds a torch representing light, illumination, or enlightenment. Supporters of this view say she brings light to the world just as Lucifer does. So you see here she's carrying a torch, right? Number 2, torch of illumination. The torch is a symbol of illumination, knowledge, and enlightenment. Key themes in Luciferian and Masonic traditions. Esoteric interpretations, the flaming torch symbolizes the false light of human wisdom replacing divine truth. This is what Flatzoid has there. He has on his logo. It has like a flame, a torch there, right? A lot of indications that Flatzoid is a Freemason. Number 3, connection to the goddesses Isis, Ishtar, and Libertas. The statue's design was inspired by the Roman goddess Libertas, goddess of freedom. Some scholars link Libertas with Ishtar, Babylonia, or Isis, Egyptian, both associated with the morning star Venus, another title of Lucifer, Isaiah 14:12. Thus, Liberty, Venus, morning star, Lucifer, according to this symbolic chain. Now, if you guys don't know, the authors, the architects of the Statue of Liberty were Freemasons. Number 4, architect of Freemasonic origins, Frederic Auguste Bertoldi, the same French guy, the same nationality as the other guy who made that other Lucifer statue. Frederic Auguste Bertoldi, the sculptor, and Edouard de Lambouillet, the visionary behind the statue, were both associated with Freemasonry. The Freemasons used the torch, the all-seeing eye, and the Enlightenment as sacred symbols, paralleling Lucifer as the light bearer. Again, that's why Freemason used the all-seeing eye and the torch. You see there when you see the Gothic reality, Flatzoid's new logo has a small flame there burning. A lot of symbolic meaning there. So date and dedication rituals, the cornerstone of the Statue of Liberty was laid in 1884 in a Masonic ceremony, complete with ritualistic blessings. Freemasonry's veneration of illumination and enlightenment is often interpreted as Luciferian in nature by critics. So it's no secret, these guys are not celebrated, they didn't get together on this ceremony to celebrate freedom for the people. They were really making this ceremony for Satan. All right. To the outsiders, to people who don't belong in the club, yeah, it's all about liberty. But for them, of course, this is a dedication to Satan. Number 6, crown of 7 rays. A crown has 7 spikes or rays, said to represent the 7 seas and continents, but esotericists link them to the 7 rays of enlightenment in occultism. The radiant crown is also found in depictions of the sun god Apollo and Lucifer as the morning star. So we're going to look at that in a minute. Pose and imagery. She stands on a broken chain representing liberation, but some interpret this as rebellion, echoing Lucifer's rebellion against God's authority. Her right hand, raised with fire, is viewed by some as a symbol of defiance, lifting the torch of self-illumination rather than submission to divine light. So let's take a look in this real quick here. So we see that the Statue of Liberty has the same chain around one of her legs, but this one is broken, symbolizing that Satan has been freed from the pit. Okay, this is what it symbolizes. You see here the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 points, just like the other Satan statue right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very similarities. So a lot of evidences that the Statue of Liberty, for the layman, for the simpleton, for the normies, this means freedom. But in fact, it really symbolizes Satan, right? The guys behind it, they didn't build this statue for the layman. They did it to celebrate, their rebellious leader. 7, pose and imagery. She stands on a broken chain. No, I've read it. 8, location, symbolic message. The statue faces east, toward the rising sun, the morning star. For many interpreters, this direction aligns with the symbolic rising of Lucifer, son of the morning, Isaiah 14:12. So she faces east, just like a lot of Freemasonic symbolism and ceremonies. They face east. NASA, when they launch their rockets always facing east, direction of east. Number 9, the New Colossus poem connection. The poem engraved on the statue, The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus, welcomes the tired and poor to the new world of light, the mother of exiles. Persona echoes Ishtar or Semiramis, goddesses of the ancient city of Babylon, which Revelation connects with spirit of rebellion. The last one, 10, occult enlightenment symbolism. The statue is seen by many as an emblem of the age of enlightenment, emphasizing reason, humanism, and secular light of divine revelation. To biblical interpreters, that reflects the Luciferian philosophy of man becoming his own God. So a lot of evidences here that the Statue of Liberty means more than we have been told, more than they have told us. Now, one thing that I want to stress here, we now that believe we are living Satan's little season. The fact is, this statue is now, they're going to celebrate 250 years, and Trump already said that there will be big, celebration next year. They were even thinking about cleaning because the Statue of Liberty is made of copper and has a copper color. So they were talking about cleaning, removing the oxidation and bringing it back to the natural color, its copper color. And so why is this date important? Why are they celebrating that? This is the cover of the magazine, I think The Economist. Right here, 250 years, they're celebrating the US and the Statue of Liberty, freedom. But you can see everything that's in this stuff, it's all the lies of Satan. You have rockets, you have SpaceX right here. Basically, everything that Satan is known about, wars, is the one that, according to Jesus Christ in the Gospel of John, he was a murderer from the beginning. So you see everything here. You see the vax right there. Okay, more rockets. These guys here, we don't know what's going on. You see here, you guys know what's going on with the whole Bubba stuff. I mean, so many deceptions, a lot of deception, 250 years of deception and lies, satellites in space, all those lies here, 250 years. They are going to celebrate next year. So, of course, Satan, once he was released, his mission is to deceive the nations. And here you see they put together and discover, I think it's the Economist magazine 2026, 250 years they're going to celebrate. There's a birthday cake right here. 250 years of lies. So I wonder, what's going on? Why are they celebrating all these lies? Because everything here that we see, communism, you can call this communism, or I don't know, Black Lives Matter and TFE. But, 250 years of lies. So that's why in 1776, 2026, 250 years. And some of us who believe we are now in Satan's little season think that they are really, this statue means that they were celebrating the release of Lucifer from the pit. All right. Now, for some of you who might think that, let's just picture this, okay? Some of you who believe that believe in futurism, I no longer believe in futurism, but let's say for some of you who believe in futurism, let's say that for you, Jesus is still going to come back, and then there will be 1,000 years of millennial reign in the future. So let's say that, let's say in your calendar, if you believe in futurism, that Jesus returns in 2026, and then Satan is bound for 1,000 years. Satan will be released according to futurism or dispensationalism in the year 3026. Why would those guys in the 18th century commemorating the release of Satan, if it's not going to happen until the year 3026, if that, according to dispensationalism, Jesus returns in 2026. Why would they be making all those statues and celebrating something that hasn't even happened yet, right? So if they are doing this, and you know those Freemasons, secret societies, they do things that they don't tell us the truth, you know? They give us the lie, but they know the truth. Why would they be doing this stuff if Satan had not been released in back in, about 250, 300 years ago, right? So there is a reason they are doing this, because they were celebrating the release of uh, their master. That's the only explanation. They wouldn't be doing this if to celebrate something that's going to happen maybe in 3050, 3100. We don't know, right? So there is more evidence that what they are doing, what they did was just like a celebration and a reminder that their leader had been in the pit for 1,000 years and was released. And here's the one of the proofs. All right. So this is something that you should consider, that they wouldn't be doing something to celebrate the release of Satan if that's still going to happen maybe in the year 3200. We don't know, according to dispensationalism. This date is open. So this is the first topic that I really want to cover, the Statue of Liberty as being Satan. A lot of evidences that pointing to the fact that that might be the case. All right, let me catch up here real quick with the chat, and then we're going to go on to the second part. So let's go to the part where we will talk about the North Pole. And for this, as I promised you guys, I told you that I was going to go over Dean Odo's video. Now, Dean Odo has a 8 hours long study on the North Pole. 8 hours, if you watch from his channel. So what I did, I watched all those 8 hours, and I reduced all the jokes, the songs, the announcements. I condensed everything into a 5-hour long. I mean, it's not just one video. It's actually not 5, it's like 7 hours. So I put everything together in 3 videos. If you go to my Flat Earth Sermons, see there the North Pole. I'll show you with you in a minute. So there's a lot of information about the North Pole there. He doesn't believe we are in the little season, but he should, because I'm going to show here how he presents a lot of evidence. So let's get started with this.
There's men in our government that have seen.
So this is short clips from Dean Odo's presentation about the North Pole being the throne of God, where God reigns, or Jesus Christ reigns. Okay, so let's go ahead with the first one.
He says this, he says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness." So let's pause right there. The word hold there in the Greek means to suppress, to hold down, to hold back. So he says that there would be men who would be holding back truth. They would know it, but they would keep it from you. All right? And the context of this is what we just read in verse 20 again in Romans, is about creation, because he goes on, verse 19, "Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them." There's men in our government that have seen, in other governments of the world, that have seen the evidence at the North Pole and at Antarctica. They've seen it, and they hold it back from you.
All right, let's pause right there. Just what I'm saying about the Statue of Liberty is one of them. Those people know the information, they know what's going on, especially about Satan's being loosed from the pits, and they will withhold those information from us and present a false reality, like the Statue of Liberty is just freedom, when in fact there is a lot of evidences that it represents Satan. The crown of 7 points the chain on his leg being broken, and a lot of evidence right there. And again, as Dean Odo pointed right there, we've been talking about a lot of evidences of the millennial reign that's being concealed. It's being hidden from us. He himself knows the governments, the leaders, will withhold this information concerning creation, concerning this stuff from us, from the public. Okay, you have there, Dino, and he knows that, right? Let's go on. Let's go play another short clip. He keeps talking about the North
There's
Pole.
also in the Bible and in every culture the discussion of a great mountain, an exceedingly high mountain in the sides of the north. Now, this is all throughout the Bible. We're going to go through all those scriptures in just a minute. It is talked about in every culture of the world.
All right, so just a reminder, Dinodo did a 8 hours long presentation, like divided in 5 sermons about the North Pole. So I'm just taking a few minutes, maybe 8 minutes worth of that 8 hours, right? So he says again about this mountain, the North Pole, which if you go over the hagiography documents, they talk a lot about that mountain, okay, the North Pole, which we believe is where Jesus, the New Jerusalem was located during the millennial reign. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Now, what do you think he said? That's when he discovered how powerful and wonderful his father was. Because the elites keep this information from you, right? And they look at that as the word occult itself means hidden, right? And they hide things from you, and they have the knowledge you don't have, so they look at you as the peon, as the useless eater, right?
Yeah, we are nothing. They hide this information from us, and they have all this evidence that the Millennium Kingdom took place, and they've been hiding. You look all you gotta do. Let's go real quick here on Google. You go to Google, fires in the 1800s, and you're gonna see all those cities. Hold on, I'm just gonna share here real quick. I don't think I can share right now. I have to finish this presentation, this video. So I'll do it in a minute, okay? So I'll show all the evidence. Let's go on. Let's listen to him a little bit more.
I have set thee so, thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Remember those words. But think about this. He is talking about this mountain of God. Is that in heaven? Why would we think it's in heaven? I believe Satan was the covering angel over it, actually. He might even have been like the North Star. Remember, stars are angels and angels are stars. I know that. It says, by the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. Thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Now, this is your Bible. This is Ezekiel. Now, let's read in Isaiah about the fall of Satan. It mentions again the mountain of God, but tells you a location, a direction. All right? This always bothered me because when I believed the earth was a spinning water ball, that fairy tale, when I believed that, I couldn't figure this out. It made no sense. Where's the north? How is heaven in the north? How is God in the north? How is the mountain of God in the north? How is there a direction? Here it is. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. If he says, I will ascend into heaven, where is he? Because he's not in heaven. He's here. But he said, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. He says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Everybody say the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. In the north.
You see there, the Mount of Congregation, the sides of north, as we've been pointing out, and I was saying to you guys that during the millennial reign, Jesus reigned from the North Pole. Okay, the New Jerusalem descended upon this mountain. All right. So yes, I see some comments here that you cannot be deceived. 45 years studying, but this is what Satan does. He deceives the nations. He deceives people, and you would not. 45 years, nothing. He's been around for the last 300 years, in Satan's little season. He's been deceiving the nations. So don't think that you might not be deceived. And we're going to point some things out today that might make you change your mind. Let's go on.
Psalm 48:2 says this, beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Now, when you look at this word beautiful for situation, look up, it means elevation. And I want to tell you right now, the Mount Zion of David, of King David, ain't it. Beautiful in elevation, no. Elevation, I should say. Beautiful, no. Exceedingly high, no. It's a foothill. Okay? And like I showed you earlier, here's Jerusalem, Mount Zion south. I've been there. I've stood on Mount Zion. South again. And Judah is in southern Israel. There's nothing about it north. Nothing about it high or exceedingly high. So the Mount Zion talked about a lot of times in Psalms, the Old Testament, had nothing to do with Jerusalem. There's another city. And there it is. It says beautiful in elevation of Mount Zion. So here's your word. Nof is how you say it. All right. There it is in the Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon, elevation, height. Here's some more verses. Psalm 75. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. Now, if you look at that, it leaves out the north. Meaning, promotion must come from the north. All right? God sits in the north.
All right, that's what we've been saying. The hagiography documents have all those proof that the millennial reign took place and Jesus reigned from the north. Okay, and now we are in Satan's little season. Now, as I said, he has an 8 hours long video on the North Pole, and I will share with you the link in a few minutes. Let's move on.
Isaiah 13:2, lift up the banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice of them, shake the land, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. O Zion, that brings good tidings, get thee up into the, notice it says the high mountain. Not just a mountain somewhere or a mountain range, that's not some general, the high mountain. There's one of the highest mountains, it's not Everest. Revelation 21:10, and he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain and showed me that great city, holy Jerusalem, descending from God. Let me tell you where Jerusalem's going to sit. The new Jerusalem's going to sit right at the North Pole.
All right, but this already happened. That's what we've been saying. There's a lot of evidence. That's why you can't even go. Nobody can go to the North Pole. It's just as protected as the Antarctic ring. Okay, and they have been hiding this for the past 300 years. All right, let's move on. I want to finish with this clip and share some other images.
And he answers, this high mountain which thou hast seen, whose summit is like the throne of God, is his throne, where the great one, the holy great one, and the Lord of glory, the eternal King, will sit when he shall come down to visit the earth. This is an earthly throne. The mountain of God and the sides of the north is an earthly throne, and literally Satan in Halal, before he fell, was the covering angel over it when God was there. Think about that. and that this mountain is here on the earth, and they're hiding it from you.
So you hear from Pastor Dinodo, they are hiding these evidences. Okay? Exactly. Yoko made an excellent point. Modern Jerusalem is not surrounded by high mountains. Everything that's written is not about the Middle East, guys. The New Jerusalem, the Holy Mountain, Mount Zion, everything has to do with the North Pole, as you hear Pastor Dinodo saying himself. Okay? So we're almost through this.
11:45 hours. I am making a hasty last entry in the flight log. Several men are approaching on foot toward our aircraft. They are tall with blonde hair. In the distance is a large shimmering city pulsating with rainbow hues of color. Again, this is Medal of Honor, United States Navy hero, highly decorated, the most experienced Arctic explorer of our time.
Well, there he talks about some, like the diary of, forgot his name, the Admiral Byrd, and but also he talks about other sources of people who lived here during the millennial reign. They knew that Jehovah or Jesus lived in the North Pole. They didn't serve him, but they knew. That's what I've been saying, that the millennial kingdom was not about Sharia law. Jesus did not force anybody to convert. He just reigned from there. He blessed the nations which went there to visit, pay respects. He cursed the nations that did not. That's what happened during the millennial reign. Let's keep on listening.
In studying this, and actually this was stored in my computer from 5 years ago, I found this little video of a guy reciting a prophecy that is known throughout the world. And it has to do with the North. And I had never heard it before. And I want you to hear it.
There is a legend said to date back thousands of years and reference a mythical land that can be found in various ancient texts. This legend comes with a prophecy. When the gradual deterioration of mankind, as the ideology of materialism spreads over the earth, and barbarian forces who follow this ideology are united under an evil leader, and there is nothing left to conquer, the mists will lift to reveal the snowy mountains of an ancient city. This evil force will attack with a huge army, equipped with terrible weapons. Then the king of this city will emerge from this ancient place with a huge army to vanquish those dark forces and usher in a worldwide golden age. Some believe that we are about to leave these times.
This golden age is past. It was during the millennial reign, and it's there. Some of the saints are still there, living there, and just more evidence of what we have been saying. We are almost over this video. Let's listen a little bit more.
This was written by the neighbor of Olaf Jensen that he dictated this to, and it was published in 1908. The events happened in 1838 when him and his father took their voyage to the north. Olaf Jensen and his father, they were fishermen from Norway. And you're going to find out that they were not Christians at all. They were not even like lukewarm Christians. They worshiped Odin and Thor. They did not have Bible. They didn't read their Bible. This is what makes this account so amazing, because you would think that they would twist the story to fit the Norse mythology, but they did not. it fits Christian theology. Yet throughout the whole thing, they continue their dedication to Odin and Thor, all right? Which to me is just mind-blowing. Which to me tells me that these men had integrity to just tell you, well, here's what they said. Now, a Norseman and a worshiper of Odin and Thor would call it Asgard. They never called it Asgard. They called it Eden. All right? Why? Because the people there told them it was Eden.
Right. Again, the more evidence there that people who lived there around the North Pole, they knew the Mount of God, they knew everything about Jesus. They didn't serve him, but they paid the respects. They, abode by their laws, during the millennial reign. Right. I think there's just I think that's all for this one from Dinodo. So I can now share. You just go to fires in the 1800s, and you see almost every major city in the U.S. Boston, Baltimore, San Francisco, Chicago, so many cities burned out, how? You have concrete buildings, stone buildings and marble, granite, buildings all burning down. A lot of explosions, they had fire squad, they had people setting fire in all those cities, destroying evidence of the millennial kingdom. So that's what they've been doing this, a lot of evidences here with the mud floods. Okay, this is in Philadelphia, if I'm not wrong, Philadelphia. See the mountains of, because in the hagiography documents states that when Satan was loosed, there was a, earthquake and shifts and everything. So this is probably from the release of Satan. See all this, mud here invading cities, all this evidence of buried. Everything here points to the fact that there was a cataclysm sometime in the 1700s, 1800s, and everything changed. So as I played videos before of the news people, CBS News saying that authorities don't want to talk about, they don't want lawsuits because in court they would have to reveal the truth, and they just don't do that. Okay, a lot of evidences that they are hiding the 1,000 year reign. Okay, if you go to my Flat Earth Sermons channel, see if I find here. Flat Earth Sermons, where is it? Well, I'll find in a minute. Okay, let's move on with the next one that I want to show, and then we will wrap up. So the next topic that I want to talk about it's about, let's go straight to Daniel 9:27. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks, and so Flatzoid had a live stream where he criticized me about the whole interpretation of Daniel 9:27, which means Messiah the King, the Anointed One. So he had a 2 hours long show, 2 hours and a half long show. He was probably going to go for more, okay, criticizing me. And what happened is at the very end, around 2 hours and 30 minutes into the show, a Jew, the Sams Abukaya, who lives in Jerusalem, and he was here at Flat Earth Reconnaissance, he showed up, and then what Sam did is he read the passage 9:27, and he agreed with me, and right after that, Flatzoid closed his live stream. So let's listen to this.
Daniel 9:27.
Daniel 9:27 over there. Benjo says that there is a word Messiah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check it out. Wait. Oh, here it is. Wait a second. On the verse 26, it is written that the anointed one this is the word Messiah on the 26th. So I think it's talking about the Messiah, but I'm not sure. Wait a second. On the 26th, it's written about the anointed one, which is not really the right translation for Messiah, but it's talking about Messiah that will be cut off. He will not be for himself. If I have to translate literally, but I don't know what it means. Anyways, what I can tell you is that the Messiah is mentioned.
Yeah, in 26. And,
in 26, yes.
But in 27, it mentions a he.
Yeah, in the translation is not is saying and he will strengthen. It's not, but logically it's supposed to be to be the continuation of the what's before, like the verse before. So in all logic, it looks like it's talking about Messiah here.
You see there, he agreed with me that Daniel 9:27 talks about the Messiah, the King, not about an Antichrist. Okay, that's what I've been saying. So what happened, guys, today is that the church, especially the seminars, they are teaching the wrong doctrine, the wrong, What happened today, like the Protestant and evangelical seminars aligned with Rome. Two things that you will find today is they support the heliocentric model, all seminars today, and they adopt the Francisco Bezerra's dispensationalist futurist eschatology. The seminars and the evangelical seminars, Protestant, they have aligned with Rome. Okay? If these people, these are the reformers from the 1800s, from the 1300s, 14, they would all be rejected today at the seminars. They would all be rejected, would not be allowed to study there. John Wycliffe, who was burned by Rome, he saw the fulfillment in Christ, Daniel's prophecy. So did John Huss. He saw the 70 weeks completed in Christ. Martin Luther, he even wrote about it. 70 weeks pointed directly to Christ. So did Melanchthon, John Calvin, Zwingli, John Knox. Okay, all of these, Theodore Beza, Range Bullinger, all the reformers saw the 70 weeks fulfilled in Christ because this is what the text says. But today's seminars and churches, they have aligned with Rome and they support the two Jesuit doctrines, which is the heliocentric model and the dispensationalism, futurism, eschatology. Two lies of Rome that has taken over the seminars and the church today, to the point where people are so brainwashed that they can't see the truth. These are not biblical doctrines, right? Let me show here. This one. This is from what's his name? Hoving. Okay. Now, to be thrown into the fire because they refuse to. I have to be careful with this because there is copyright in this. This is based on a soap opera in Brazil. But anyway, they were. Then comes Kent Hovind with his false doctrine, saying that Daniel didn't know what he was talking about. Okay, here we have Kent Hovind right here at the very end. So that's a very interesting. What does the king does not convert to Judaism, whatever. He just says that every in his empire they have to honor the God of Daniel. They didn't order the people to convert, just like in the millennial reign. Many nations like India, Saudi Arabia, they didn't convert. Okay, but listen what Kent Hovind says.
Was crucified. So when Jesus was crucified, they rejected their king. The Lord said, "Oh, you don't want your king? Okay, I'm going to take you Jews, and put you over here, and I'm going to put the Gentiles in for a while. The prophet.
No, this is not biblical. It's not there. It's not Daniel. Daniel was very clear. Imagine, guys, I lend you guys $490, okay? And I tell you, every day I will come and collect $10. You pay me in 40, 90 days, okay? $490. Tomorrow I come and collect $10, and the next day, okay, in 40, 90 days, you get everything paid back to me. So there goes $490, and then tomorrow I come back $480, $407. You keep giving me $10 every day. When we get to $480 paid, there's only $10 left, and I tell him, hey, wait a minute, there is $2,000 interest between 480 and 490. There's $2,000 interest. Okay. You're going to say, why didn't you tell me that before? Did you deceive me? So this is what these guys are saying, that God deceived the people. That between the 6th, 9th week and 7th week, there's a 2,000 years gap. There is not.
There's a 2,000-year gap.
No, there is not.
The prophets couldn't see this.
He says the prophets couldn't see this. Now, Daniel was in the fire with Jesus, the Lord himself. And this guy says the prophet couldn't see that. Okay, so a lot of false prophecies, a lot of false doctrines being taught today in the seminars that are run by Rome, and we have to break free from this stuff, right? So I'm gonna play the first song for today. Really, there's a lot of things to cover, and I wanna go ahead and play this first song. It's gonna be a short, first song here, and we gotta come right back. This one here.
The world through a silver mic, spoke the truth or what he liked. Had a crowd hanging on every word he said. To the day someone shot him down dead. Now many say that all was fake. He's still alive, so stay away. But either way, his widow's fine. She's got more front than Calvin Klein. Now she's on TV wearing sexy clothes, telling a story that's getting old. Crying on cue for the camera's flash, counting the tears and counting the cash. Oh, Erica Kirk loves to win with a firework. Patch her face, but we see the smirk. It's now a good time to sell my merch. Ain't no sorrow, is that a rumor? Cause the tissue's drier than my humor. She's cashing in, but do you blame her? Just don't you mention Romania. Hugging all the top brass daddies, Trump, Vance, and all them baddies. He's not cold, but the story's so fake. Tears dry, she's now getting old. She's got that widow spotlight shine, a heart full of nothing but dollar signs. While the world's still humming his last refrain, she's dancing through the widow's pain. Oh, Erica Kirk loves to win with a firework. Pats her face, but we see the smirk. It's now a good time to sell my merch. Ain't no sorrow, is that a rumor? Cause the tissue's drier than my humor. She's cashing in, but do you blame her? Just don't you mention Romania.
All right, short song there. Let's continue. So there is one more here that I want to play with for you. Let's go over. I want to do this within our time that we normally do. So this is really interesting. Again, this preaching is like 30 minutes long. But let's just listen to the very, just got a couple minutes here. Let's listen and talk about it.
Daniel's 70 weeks do not have, the fulfillment does not have to be postponed to the future, because all the things that have to happen in that period of time are confirmed in the New Testament to have happened already. The Messiah shall be cut off. Now, cut off is a term that's used in the Old Testament to mean killed. So this predicts the Messiah's death. But now, after the last of those weeks, after the 69th of those weeks, he will be cut off. He'll be killed, but not for himself. Of course, Jesus didn't die for himself, but for our sins. Put together the way the dispensationalists have them. And when you get to Daniel 9, there's no reference to an Antichrist at all. Although the he of verse 27, he shall confirm the covenant with many for a week, the dispensation says he is the Antichrist. And when it says in verse 27, but in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to the sacrifice and offering. They say he is, again, the Antichrist. But there's a problem with this grammatically. Whenever you read the word he, which is a pronoun, it needs to have an antecedent. You have to have some noun. You have to have some person who has already been mentioned to whom you are referring back when you say he. You don't just walk up to someone cold and start saying, he said this to me. That person will say, well, who? You haven't mentioned who you're talking about. When there's a he, there must be an antecedent to the he. If he is the Antichrist, there must be some previous mention of the Antichrist. Is there?
No,
I find none. First of all, we saw that the people who destroyed the city and sanctuary are the Romans, not some future Romans, the ancient Romans, back 2,000 years ago. Even dispensationalists admit this. They recognize that the people of the prince are the Romans in AD 70. This is not controversial. Who is the subject of the previous verses? Well, you'll notice the focus of attention in verse 25 and 26 is the Messiah. Certainly to say he in verse 27 without any further identification of who he is would naturally assume it means the person that's been under discussion, the Messiah. He's the one who's coming. He's the one who's cut off. He's the one who makes the covenant. He's the one who causes the sacrifices and offerings to cease. How so? Well, of course, by his death. By Jesus' death, he brought an end to the sacrificial system. And if someone says, but they kept offering sacrifices after that, so what? Pagans do so to this day in some jungles. That doesn't mean there's anything valuable about them. The point is he brought an end to offerings and sacrifices as far as God is concerned. People can offer as many as they want afterwards, but God, they're just pagan sacrifices after that. Jesus put an end to the sacrificial system by his death, and that's confirmed in the book of Hebrews emphatically.
All right, very important points there. He nails that because Jesus did exactly what the prophecy says. He was going to be cut off, not for himself. He made the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Everything was done right there, and he is the one who made the covenant. So it's very clear from all the reformers, from the position of the church, that Daniel 9:27 refers to Jesus Christ. He is the one who fulfilled that prophecy, and the prophecy is completed. Not meaning that there's no 1 year left, there's no 3 years left for the future. Everything was completed, the 70 weeks was completed in Christ.
Verse 26 and 27, I think, have confused people because they fail to recognize that they are parallel to each other. Verse 26 mentions the death of the Messiah and the destruction of Jerusalem. Verse 27 also mentions the death of the Messiah and the destruction of Jerusalem. And therefore, the two verses talk about the same two events. For example, verse 26 says the Messiah shall be cut off. And verse 27 says, in the middle of the week, he'll bring an end to the sacrifice and offering. Well, these are the same things. The death of the Messiah, the cutting off of the Messiah is what brought an end. Verse 26 mentions the people, the prince who is to come, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Verse 27 talks about the same thing when it says, on the wing of abomination shall be one who makes desolate. That is, the abomination of desolation is the Romans coming to destroy the city and the sanctuary. The same 2 points are made in both verses. They're kind of parallel to each other. How do I know the abomination of desolation is the Romans coming? Well, Jesus, or we should say Matthew and Luke tell us that. Jesus in Matthew 24:15 said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, standing where it ought not to be, you who are in Jerusalem flee. But Luke, recording the very same statement, paraphrases it. In Luke 21, it's the very same statement. Matthew 24:15 is when you see the abomination of desolation. Luke 21:20, Luke paraphrases and says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near. And if you
So we all know this all happened already when Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, right?
read the verses before and after this, you'll see it's exactly the same verse that both Matthew and Mark record as the abomination of desolation. Luke has clarified what is meant by that. It is Jerusalem surrounded by armies, which his disciples, some of them, would live to see. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that its desolation is near. You need to flee then. So Jesus identifies the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet as the armies coming against Jerusalem in the first century. That means that the 70 weeks of Daniel do not take us any further off into the future than the destruction of Jerusalem. And not surprisingly, that's what the prophecy said at the beginning. 70 weeks are determined upon your people and upon the holy city. So 490 years are the period of time from Daniel's time until the end of the Jewish order and the holy city.
All right, I'm gonna share again. You can download my timeline. It says everything was fulfilled, and even when Jesus, after the resurrection, he was walking with two disciples. You'll find that in the book of Luke at the very end, and he told them, "Don't you have a hard heart, something like that, to believe all that." Starting from there, he explained how all the prophecies concerning him had to be fulfilled. So everything had to be fulfilled. Okay?
To expect anything beyond 70 AD is to disagree with the prophecy. Now, but like I said, dispensationalists say, but the 70th week is still future. There's this gap. The 69th week ended, but then the 70th week didn't come immediately, but it was postponed. Well, as I showed you, there's nothing in the prophecy to suggest such a gap. To say, well, it has to be future because the 6 things in verse 24 haven't happened, that's wrong. They have happened. Well, to say, but the Antichrist hasn't come yet, that's okay. He's not mentioned in the passage. There's no Antichrist in the whole prophecy. So it's so much simpler than that. It means that the 70th week does the same thing all the other weeks did, followed the previous one. The angel said 77s or 490 years is the period of time we're going to discuss. But the dispensationalists say, but there's this 2,000-year gap in here, so it's not really 490 years, it's more like 2,490 years, a period 5 times as long as the angel said. This is called literal interpretation. There's no literal reference to an Antichrist, but he's all over the place in this passage for dispensations. No literal interpretation could render it that way. Certainly to render 490 years to be more than 2,500 years, actually, that's not literal interpretation either. It's as if I asked you to take me to the airport this Saturday. And you said, well, how far is the airport from here? I said, well, I think it's about 40 miles from here. It's 40 miles from here. And you said, yeah, I can do that. So we get in your car and we drive towards Seattle. And we go 35 miles, 36 miles, 37 miles, 38 miles, 39 miles. You're expecting the airport in the next mile or so. But we go 45 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles. You say, I thought you said the airport was 40 miles from here. I say, oh, you didn't understand. Between the 39th and the 40th mile, there's a distance of 200 miles. There's a gap of 200 miles between the 39th and the 40th mile. So the real distance is really, 240 miles. Well, you would probably think I had lied to you rather than had given you any information. If the angel is really trying to give information, then he shouldn't mislead. The angel said there's a whole period of time. The whole period of time is 490 years. That's the whole period of time. But the dispensations say actually it's about 5 times that long. The angel was just hiding some really important details.
All right, great explanation from Daniel 9. Okay, somebody asked which passage of Daniel it is. That's the prophecy of Daniel, the 70 weeks. Hey, Daniel Almeida, this is about Daniel 9, the whole prophecy for the Jesus to arrive. Okay, and that particular verse is 9:27. The prophecy of Daniel. All right, so that's what we have to cover, mostly. As I was saying to you guys, today's church and seminars, they have aligned themselves with Rome, and they support two things: the heliocentric model and this corrupt version of interpretation of Daniel 9:27, claiming that there will be a future Antichrist when the passage does not say that. Talks about Jesus the Messiah from beginning to end, and says that the Jerusalem will be destroyed, which it did in 70 AD. None of those reformers would be fit to attend today's seminars because they don't agree with these two things right here. So all of them would be rejected. John Wycliffe, Jane Hus, Martin Luther, Melanchthon, John Calvin, Zwingli, John Knox, all of them would be rejected by today's church and seminars because they rejected futurism. The 70 weeks of Daniel have been completed in full. There's no time left, for that prophecy. And the consequence of that, after Daniel, Jesus did everything he said he was going to do. And we are now in Satan's lyricism, all right? Now take a look at this video. I put together, this was not made by any lyricism guy. It was to promote a website that creates videos, but it fits perfectly with Revelation 8, verse 8.
And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood.
Pompeii last hours, Vesuvius eruption, 79 AD.
Cur fugisti hericum denaris meis, Lucia?
Non fughi, Marcus. Merce stui falsae fuerunt.
The earth is moving! Look at the mountain! It's gonna erupt! Run!
Oh no!
We need to get out of here.
Marco, where are you? I can't see. Mama! Where are you?
Mountain! It's gone! It's the end of the world! Look at the mountain! May the gods save us.
proves, okay, that Revelation was written before all that stuff, even before the destruction of the temple, because John saw the temple in 13, Revelation 13. So Revelation was written before, not in 95 or as Rome teaches. A lot of those books that the seminars use today, they were all given by Rome. Okay, so who knows how many things they have changed. And just look at the 50 miles long library worth of books the Vatican has hidden from us. You saw Dean Odell explain at the very beginning how they hide, governments hide evidences of the kingdom of God, and that's what they have been hiding all these years. They hide the evidence that the millennial kingdom is past. We are not preterists. We believe everything happened, just like you saw the mountain being cast into the sea, just like in Revelation 8, verse 8. So the things that were written, they have all been fulfilled. You know, the things that haven't been fulfilled yet, which I believe is the final battle when the fake alien, perhaps when the New Jerusalem lands back in the North Pole, and they will claim it's a spatial alien, and will gather the nations to battle. Okay, Gog and Magog and all the nations to battle. That's the final. That's the final card. That's what Warner von Braun was saying the whole time. That's the final card. When that New Jerusalem lands back at the North Pole, they will claim it's an alien from outer space, and they will attack that. That's what we have right there. A lot of evidences that the Millennium Kingdom is past. We don't see seminars or even church daring to explain all this stuff here. Seminars, they deny. Last week I showed the city under the Amazon, which nobody, the academia in Brazil, the universities, nobody there to explain or to talk about it. They keep saying that's conspiracy, but seminars are not telling us this. They're hiding information. Instead, they are teaching false doctrines like dispensationalism, future antichrist, and everything. All right, guys, I think we're getting towards the end of the show. I appreciate it's been let me just share here the website again. I think let's see, which channel am I under? Oh, I am under the Flat Earth Sermon channel. So you go to my Flat Earth Sermons. If you want to watch the whole presentation by Dean Odell, it's 5 hours long. It's right here, 5 or 7 hours long. The Mountain of God in the North, Paradise and Christmas. Okay, parts 1 and 2, parts 3 and 4, part 5. So combine all together, you have like 3 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours worth. But if you watch on his website, it's going to be 8 hours because he pauses, he sings, he jokes, and I have put everything together. I do want to thank you guys for being here today. If you want to support the channel, just click in any of the links. I have, as a matter of fact, this whole presentation by Steve Gregg. I have here, I have Flat Earth Sermons right there. Okay, excellent presentation, Daniel 9:27. Just check it out. And if you want to support the channel, you find the links under all of my videos. Okay, so I had more to talk to about the TFE. I don't think we have to be giving those guys any airtime anymore because they are from the devil. The devil has been a liar from the beginning. All they do is lie. The Globers are always lying. So I'm gonna have to close the show now. And sorry that I haven't kept up with all the comments. I will try leave a comment on the video and I'll reply to you. Thanks a lot, guys. May the Lord bless with you, and I'll see you back next week. All right, bye-bye.
mystical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratosphereus, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles of dense air pressure, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, legendary light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve around us, to forever show time fast intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, you through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars on the firmament, time all around us, to forever show time fast, geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystic, luminous light, fantastical, magical, bright, we see through you like air. Magical, angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air.